As we approach Veterans Day, we would like to pay tribute to some of those who have sacrificed so much for all of us. One of those heroes is a former Army Ranger who nearly lost his life in Iraq from a roadside bomb. He was severely burned, lost limbs, and nearly lost hope. Tonight, National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin shares his story along with another veteran who is also overcoming some incredible odds.
Former Army Ranger Michael Schlitz was patrolling southwest Baghdad looking for roadside bombs.
And there's only two ways you find them. Either you find it, you get disarmed, or it finds you. And sometimes we could keep rolling, and sometimes you don't.
February 27, 2007, 6 months into his tour.
That day it was 2 artillery rounds in a propane tank, deep buried about 6 feet under the ground. So when it came up through the vehicle, it just shedded everything with shrapnel, while also spraying that propane.
And you lost both your arms.
And my door came open and I was thrown from the vehicle.
Burned over 85% of his body, Schlitz contemplated suicide at Walter Reed. Today he works for the Gary Sinise Foundation building smart homes for amputees.
The turning point then on that point was the day I came home with my very first prosthetic. And I got to feed myself. There was that little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, that little bit of independence you needed.
Captain Leslie Smith had a severe pain in her leg that turned out to be a blood clot.
Leslie, how did you lose your leg? How did you lose your sight?
I was so afraid to go to the clinic that I would actually be deemed like the weak female soldier. So I just tolerated the pain to the point where I almost couldn't walk until literally I had to go to the clinic.
She got to Walter Reed just in time.
I was placed on imminent death status, 24 hours to live, and I remember the doctor who was going to do the amputation before I went into surgery, he said, "Please don't die on me." And I just remember that to this day.
Captain Smith says female veterans like her often aren't recognized for their sacrifices.
We're always assumed that we're there with our husbands or our grandfathers, like, say, taking them to appointments.
For these soldiers, they've turned their injuries into their new call to service.
Somewhere deep down, I knew it wasn't my time. That even though I was retired, I had a bigger mission to fulfill. And even though I couldn't wear the uniform and fight the fight, there was something else bigger out there for me.
We fast forward now, over 10 years later, and there's not too much I can't accomplish.
At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
So many of those great stories. Saturday, Jennifer hosts the Wounded Warrior Experience, sponsored by the American Veterans Center. It'll be aired on Fox Business Network at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. You can see it there. You can see more of those incredible stories like the ones you just saw from veterans who've suffered from both visible and invisible wounds and how they're inspiring others. Of course, all of this as we honor veterans on this Veterans Day.